but Damus has done a deep dive on one by name. His name is Og. Can you tell us what can you tell us about Og, Damus?
Oh, Og. Who was King Og? Um, King Og is known as the last survivor of the Rephaim, the race common associated with the giant tribes. He ruled the land of Bashan, located east of the Jordan River. This region is known for the Transjordan, modern day like Golan Heights, parts of Syria, northern Jordan. He ruled a vast territory of like 60 fortified cities, all with high walls, gates, bars. All this is described in Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 4 and 5. I'd say one of the interesting connections of Og is the territory. Mount Bashan is at the foothills, he ruled Bashan, which where's Mount Hermon at the foothills of Bashan. So Og's territory wasn't random. He ruled the very landscape associated with the origins of his giants, supposedly. Og's kingdom sat, in the spiritual heartland of the Nephilim and Canaan. There's a lot of interesting things about Og, not only before the flood, but also after the flood. I would say more the Bible leans more of after the flood stories, whereas Jewish mysticism, some of the other kind of lore talks about Og before the flood. So his bed was in Deuteronomy 3:11 describes his bed being 9 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. That is translated to 13.5 feet long and 6 feet wide. So this guy was massive. You'd want him to be on your NFL football team,
He was at least a 12-footer. But you shared some of your research with me, and I read over it before the show, and you talk about the 3 different types of cubits, or the 3 different variations of a cubit. What can you explain that to us?
So when you go through history, you have the regular cubit, which is 18 inches, the roll cubit, which is around 20 inches, then you have the sacred cubit, which is around 25 inches. So if you kind of put in his cubits that the Bible describes and kind of put those equations in the different heights, that bed could be anywhere from 13 and a half feet to nearly 19 feet long. So based off of what cubit you use, it's a pretty significant find. So I would ask you guys, what cubit would you think that would be most commonly used in that time period, or what cubit should we use to analyze the Bible?
There's an Egyptian cubit and an imperial cubit. What did you call them?
Yeah, I mean, sacred cubit, regular cubit, and a roll cubit. I mean, they could be all kind of different, but either way, they're 18 to 20 to 25 inches, or some of the ones that I've seen.
Would you say, Mondo?
Yeah, most of the time what scholars do is say, well, let's just take the average and go 21, and then we're going to be right there in the middle. So,
all right. So what happened to this guy? He had an empire there. He was located on the outskirts of Canaan. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was allied with some of the inner Canaanite empires. I guess there were small empires there. Did your studies run you across a man named Sihon?
Yeah, but before Og was King Sihon, and together Sihon and Og represent the 2 major Amorite powers east of the Jordan. So, after he defeated King Sihon, he went after obviously Og. And one of the great things about Og's defeat was he was in charge of the King's Highway, which was a major trade and military route that ran through that land. So basically, whoever controlled this corridor from Egypt to Mesopotamia had a lot of power. So Og's land was a strategic choke point between that area. So it was a geopolitical angle to defeating Og. So it wasn't just symbolic as far as, it opened the road to conquering the promised land. So I thought that was a pretty interesting point of study. But the Israels defeated him. And God promised that to Moses, that he would deliver Og and his land into the hands of the Israelites.